No one would have expected that the very top psychoanalyst of New York would devote a whole chapter of his book to the question, whatever happened to the cat? A family went on their summer holiday. They took their cat with them, but when it came time to go home, the cat was missing. They thought it was somewhere down in the basement with the heating furnace, but they couldn't find it, and the owner of the cat, she didn't feel like crawling around amongst the pipes, so they left the cat behind. Whatever happened to the cat? Was it left to starve and die there in that basement? Did someone ever come and let the cat out? Was the cat ever seen again? Well, who cares? Oh yes, as you hear the story you say, oh, but the poor cat. But how can you care for that cat? Didn't the owner care enough? But when the cat went missing in the basement and would not come out, they left it behind. Of course, someone will say, it was only a cat, a very old cat, a stupid cat, refused to come when it was called. So someone else will find the cat, dead or alive. Who cares about a cat? Sometimes we have to tell that cat, if you don't come out and get on board, you'll be left behind. Am I talking about a cat? It is a tough call, but sometimes that's the call that's needing to be made. Sometimes the cat can't see or refuses to see that staying behind, not getting on board at the right time, could have very dire negative consequences. How can we care about a cat in New York, probably long since dead? And that's what some people do, isn't it? They leave their cats behind at the end of the summer. I'm talking literally there. Someone else will care for the cat. We don't need it. Let's get on with what is really important. Really, what we really need to care about. So some things we care about and some things we really care about. Is that it? Some things we leave behind. We cared about them once. What am I talking about now? Metaphorically, we could talk about many things in our life. We cared about certain things once. But now we've moved on and we're caring about something else. Is caring a matter of how much we care? Or is it about putting care into something at a particular time in our life and then relinquishing it and concentrating on some other areas to care about? But then, of course, we get angry. Yes, anger is never far away from us. Anger that some people just don't care. Don't care enough. Don't care about the things we think they should care about. They walk away. They literally leave their cat behind. Metaphorically, what is the cat they leave behind? Leave the caring to somebody else. Excuse themselves. Don't know how they could possibly effectively care about a cat in New York anyway. So the more general commentary quickly follows. People like that, those people that leave cats behind, should be punished. They should be told they're not fit to have a cat in the first place. That they are just Just. And that's what we say about each other, isn't it? Just. And someone, society, somewhere, should do something. Should. Yes, should. I read about a 14-year-old boy who committed a terrible crime. You read about it. And the judge sent him to jail, 14 years of age. Sent him to jail for life. 28 years later, he is still there. He's now 42 years of age. And he's going to have another 40 years left to serve in jail. Who cares? Yet somewhere in the annals of our mind, we hear Shakespeare's Portia castigating the unforgiving, intransigent Shylock with those words that haunt us a little but rarely change us. The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It is twice blessed. Blessed indeed. But that kid who committed the crime and his crowd showed no mercy. So why should mercy be shown to him? Why grant him a whisper of a blessing 3 decades later? So the cat rats in the basement. Who cares? It all happened years ago. The cat story, this kid, this man, 42 years of age. We human beings like to be unique. Unique, like everybody else. And so we hang on to things when it is long since time we let them go. But wait a moment, you say, wait a moment. What about that cat? Yeah. Caring is costly. Caring is complicated, isn't it? We call the scriptures of the Christian heritage to our aid, and we hear them say, let the love you saw in the life of Christ flow generously into your life, and may you show to all the extensive dimensions of goodness and love that will also enrich your knowledge and wisdom. Do you believe that stuff? And the New English Bible just takes it one step further. It caps it all. It says, may you attain to fullness of being, the fullness of God himself. That's impossible. So we put it over there. The goal is put before us to achieve the fullness of what it means to be a fully generous human being, mirroring the fullness of God himself, whatever that might mean. Now, we know that caring in our kind of world is very complex, and we get terribly tangled up. It is all too easy to say what they should have done with that cat. But you know, they had to go to the airport because their great aunt was coming home from London. They had to be at the airport. They couldn't wait on the cat. See, there's complications. I invented that complication. We could invent many others. In our kind of world, the cat gets left behind, whatever the cat is, gets left behind as we pursue our particular goals, our self-serving goals, as they might be. Caring in the many segments of our society, in the many subsections of our life, can be very complex. Caring is a product of our emotional maturity, our social intelligence, our rational self-interest, our moral obligations, our personal investment our physical health, caring, is a product of the decisions regarding our priorities. It's about our emotional investments. It's about our age and life situation. Caring is a product of specific life events, family events, group events. Caring is a personal view of what caring consists of for us and how we ourselves will express it. So this one says, I care a lot. About what? Because that one says, yes, that's good for you, but I'm past caring. Some say, well, I'm happy to be a passive carer. I'm good at that. Another one says, no, we've got to be actively caring in a global sense. Some are strongly involved in caring about others, and they don't care about themselves. How to self-care? Do we? In our exercise, in our diets, in our sleep patterns, in our unresolved problems that we churn on about them? Where are we? In all the fragmentation and fractures of our life, we need a particular garment to fold over the lot, fold over and draw its wide dimensions right over all the fragments. Let's see what this garment might be. The garment is different, I think, from every other garment, the garment I'm talking about. And yet it has some things in common with those other garments that we know about. Its purpose might be the same, but the way it does it is different. Of course, I'm talking about the garment of the church. Doing its best, it does something that no other organization garment does. The religious garment, in all of its expressions, not only the church, but other religions as well, has a garment. We see schools and universities open to the greater fullness of being and helping us to be part of that. We see factories and workplaces providing us with the fullness of purpose, work to do, opening us to that kind of life. But no such organization, no such garment speaks the words that our religion, our faith can speak, as it speaks courage to us in times of stress, as it speaks consolation to us in times of sorrow, as it speaks community to us in all of our scatteredness, as it speaks coherence to us in our times of soul deadness, as it speaks care to us when care seems to be saturated with our own self-determinations. The big question that faces us in our kind of society is how we will care effectively, how we will care generously, how we will care extensively, when caring can be so complex and complicated and so dominated by other colours. Today the colour is light blue. We open our programs today, a year where we're going to see many changes. And the question is, as things change, how will you care? Will you care more or less? Will you care diffusely or effectively? Will you care generously or in a closed way? In times of change, there is a tendency to leave the cat in the basement, throw away the key, get on with life. With the help of my staff, I have put together that program booklet for the first quarter of this year, because the second part of the year will be different. There are going to be changes. And we've kept an eye on what programs we will sustain in the first quarter. What programs are worth surely sustaining? There may be more. Oh yes, there will be more. But we want to keep the colour of the essential garment of faith, light blue, the colour of caring. We want to have a caring community, bringing colour, cohesion, and caring to every person who becomes part of this community. Second, that's the garment of caring. Second, we aim to continue to give support. No, to make this a supportive community, being a good presence to people in times of stress and sorrow, being a supportive presence to people in their scatteredness and in their times of soul deadness, a supportive community providing experiences of inspiration, as you've had here today, and of encouragement, opening the awareness of a genuine sense of belonging to something important, to a wider identity, a larger wholeness, to overcome our tendency to be too small, too self-sabotaging. We need to be constantly reminded of the positive privilege of being part of something that lifts us above our smallness, to be part of something much larger and something that is so transformative that we will see the fullness of it all as an extension of the fullness of God Himself. Thirdly, we want to continue to be part of a new learning phase in our life. New learning for the Big Tent program. New learning for the Sage program. New learning for the Mingri program. And so I could go on. They have been vigorous components in our learning how to be a caring people in different and difficult times. Little kids in the Big Tent program. Older adults in the Sage program. Every one of us in times of sickness and stress being part of the Mingri program. Thus learning in 2016 to embrace learning in a progressive way as things change. So many things are changing right around the world. Many changes are occurring in our small thimble, which is our world. In the face of so many changes, I invite you to consider whether you will care more or less. Will your care be loaded with anxiety and worry, or with too much resentment and anger? Will it be loaded with too many demands and too little listening to the best course that you might take? Will we let things pass, or will we find places where it is important to be a caring presence and develop the appropriate caring skills? Learning how to change, learning how to care in new ways, learning to be with courage and with different strengths. So here is something straight from the Scriptures. It says, care for the people for whom you have the privilege of being an important part of their lives. Care for them generously, not hurtfully, but generously, not lording it over them, but with genuine sympathy and commitment. And there is a reward, it says. You will receive a lasting, colourful affirmation that what you did in your time was worth doing. Not only for the fullness of your life, but as an expression of the fullness of all life. What the Bible calls the fullness of God Himself, the widest possible dimensions. caring. Is it possible? Can it be effective? How can it be effective? Reliable, sensitive and sensible, contextual, genuine. It will inevitably be intertwined with each one's self-interest, intertwined with complex emotions. But is it carrying the marks of empathy, altruism, and the fullest possible goodness? Caring is about making realistic and rational choices. What and who I can care for, and who and what I can do effectively. So I'm going to put to you just 4 or 5 points quite quickly. We need to focus. Focus on what is practical, possible, realistic. Focus on what resources we have and use them effectively. Number 2, caring is about investment of our energy. Our energy out there and our energy in here. Where is the caring going? Is it going too much inside? Are we expressing it outwardly? So will we get back to the cat? Will we go back to that cat? Will we collect all the cats? Will we set out or set up an association of sorrow for all the cats that have been left behind? And you'll say, I'm now losing my senses. Because that's what we often do. We lose our senses. We're trying to care too broadly, too widely. We need to focus our energy. Thirdly, we need to find direction of our caring. Will we go backwards and look after the cat that we don't know where it is, searching for something of the past? Or will we now go forwards? Will we try to pick up what we left behind? Or will we enter the game of prevention, the process of prevention, educating people about how to look after their cats, about how to look after themselves, about how to look after each other, how to be different as we release ourselves from the past and all the complications that go with the past. Release ourselves from back there so that we can go forward, released to a better way of caring. That requires us, fourthly, to rise above dissension and conflict, to rise above our guilt about the past, our blaming of each other and of ourselves, of all those shoulds. You should have done it, you should not have done that. Rising above all of that. There are 4 things, therefore, to focus on what we can do effectively. Finding the energy of sympathy and commitment and caring. Deciding on the direction backwards or forwards. What direction? And remembering the need for us to rise above what has happened and embrace something for the future. Now, number 5, and the last one, we're going to say we need to see that we can't save all the cats that have been left in the basement. But we need to be realistic in ensuring that we support causes to prevent cats being left in the basement. Metaphorically speaking, we need to support causes that prevent too many of the negative complexities of life, so that we can be part of the growth of this congregation and the people who come to it. So, to recognize that we can't be doing all the things to mend the past, but we can prevent many of the things in the future and promote that fullness of life for ourselves and for others, which will reflect, the Bible says, the fullness of God himself. Would you please stand? And so the blessing on this day, the blessing today will be different from other days. May little kids around the world experience somewhere the caring and courage of a big tent. May all who come to Mingary here in this place find a helping word and see in the light on the east wall a symbol that lifts them to a new way of being. May all older people find energy and enlightenment to live well the later years of their life. May all of us, in our various circumstances, know the power of being released from our smaller self and the power of being embraced by the inspiration of a larger life. May we all be open to the fullness of life so that we know something of the fullness of God himself. May we all carry the colours of caring into the life of everyone. And may the good Spirit enlarge, strengthen, and enhance our spirits today and every day.